स्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पश्चात देशधारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण. Welcome all of you to our daily Bhagavad Gita reading session, and thank you very much for your enthusiastic participation. Sorry, give me one moment. Okay. We are discussing Bhagavad Gita chapter 2, and yesterday we discussed this verse 29, 2.29, and today we are going to read 2.30. Before that, let's have a quick recap what we learned in verse 2.29. And this purport of Srila Prabhupada, the purport to this verse is very interesting, beautiful, and a lot of learning points, practical learning points are there. So what was this verse was, that was Ascharyavat pasyati kaschidenam Ascharyavat vadati tatheva chanyah Ascharyavachainam anyah shrunoti shrutvapi enam vedana chaiva kaschit. So this is called amazing verse. Why? This is here, it is described how the soul is amazing. The soul is amazing, and whoever, you know, um, speak about it, they also speak in amazement. They badati, Ascharyavat badati. So they speak in amazement, and they see also the soul in amazement. They hear, whoever hears about it, they also hear in amazement. And even if hearing this amazing soul, it is so amazing that nobody able to understand it properly. So what does it really mean? Why so many amazing terms are described here? So Srila Prabhupada, first beginning in the purport, he is quoting that Gita is also a Upanishad, Gita Upanishad. The similar verse we see also in Kathopanishad. What it talks that starting from the gigantic animal, let's say big elephant or a whale, to a small ant, it is the same soul which is residing in that big animal as well as the smallest creature. Forget about ant, even if in the microbic germs, it is the same soul which is residing, and it is the same soul that is residing in gigantic banyan tree. So isn't it very amazing? Yes, it is. And why people are not able to understand about this? Because this knowledge of soul can only be understood by the people who are austere. So austerity, we spoke yesterday, what it means, that like we are rising early in the morning, this is also austerity. We are fasting in Ekadasi, this is austerity. So similarly, giving up eating meat, this is austerity. Giving up the sex with other women outside the family, that is also austerity. So giving up intoxication, that is also austerity. And giving up gambling, that is also austerity. So in the path of austerity, whoever can work, eventually he will develop knowledge and realization about this soul. And this knowledge, there is no defect in this knowledge. This knowledge is coming directly from Krishna. Tene Brahma Hridayadi Kabe. He has first imparted this knowledge into the heart of Brahmaji. And then through the chain of disciplic succession from Brahma to Narada to Vyasa, it has come to us. So there is no defect in the knowledge. But we are not able to understand because our heart is not pure. That's the reason we are not able to understand. How we can get purity? By performing austerity. Then we will slowly, gradually, will able to understand. So then, Srila Prabhupada is talking in the purport that, people, instead of walking in the path of austerity, they are too much engrossed in sense gratification, material sense gratification. So that's the reason they have less time, they have very little time to understand about their self, who they are actually, where they come from, and where they will return. What is this life for? Why they are undergoing this fundamental misery, janma, mrityu, jara, vyadhi, all these things. So how to stop this? What is the solution for that? So all these inquiry, for all these inquiry, they do not have time because they are simply engrossed in the subject of material sense gratification. Why is it that? Krishna bhuliya jiva bhogavansha kare. When somebody is forgetting Krishna, what he will attracted to? What he will be attracted to? Bhogavansha, for sense gratification. Why it is? Why we have so much of deep-rooted attraction towards this material sense gratification? Actually, this attraction is for Krishna. And it is pervertedly reflecting in different way. Krishna bhuliya jiva bhogavansha kare. When someone remembers Krishna and cultivate in this path to remember him, then slowly and steadily he will be getting rid of this petty material attraction. That's the reason every morning we are chanting the holy name. What will happen by this? By this, our heart will be purified. The contaminated desires of material sense gratification will be evaporated day by day, and we will get attraction towards Krishna. This is very simple. And this Kali Yuga is so unfortunate that even though some people, by the ditch of Maya, in their attempt of getting happiness and then at last getting failures and frustrations, not able to satisfy them, through this process, sometimes some people are inclined to hear about the knowledge about soul. But in Kali Yuga, it is so unfortunate that this right knowledge is not being presented everywhere. Correct knowledge, correct philosophy. The perverted philosophies are also floating in the market. The Mayavadis, they propagate that philosophy that, hey, you are God, I am God. It is the same Atma. Everything is same. At last, when we will be liberated, we will be merging into a super consciousness. So that means they are not distinguishing about the Lord, the Paramatma and Jivatma. They are taking everything is identical. But this is a misguided philosophy. So this is what been discussed in purport, and then Srila Prabhupada is telling that whoever are leading in this path of bhakti, have taken up to the chanting of holy name, how is it possible? Definitely that person have done lot of penance and sacrifices, lot of tyag and balidan he might have done in his past life or in this life. That's the reason he is able to accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead and he is leading in this path of bhakti, chanting the holy name of the Lord. And this is, if someone has not undergone this penance and sacrifice, how is it possible? Yes, it is possible. By the causeless mercy of a pure devotee. If we will associate with the pure devotee more and more, then lavamatra sadhu sange, a great benefit can come just by a minute of association with the pure devotee. This is what we discussed in last verse. So many of you were not present yesterday, so that's the reason I thought let me do a quick recap. Yes, so this is graphically represented here. You see in the below picture, it is the same soul which is in microbic germs, in elephant, in banyan tree, and in a small baby. Okay, and how people are seeing it, amazing. How people are hearing about it, amazingly. How people are describing it, amazing. Let's come to today's discussion. 2.30. And with this, we will be ending up the section 2 of Atmagyana, the knowledge about self. Dehi nityam avatvayam dehe sarvasya bharata tasmat sarvani bhutani na tvam sochitum arhasi. You all can join with me. Dehi nityam avatvayam
देहि नित्यम अवधेयम
देहे सर्वस्य भारत
देहे सर्वस्य भारत
तस्मात् सर्वाणि भूतानि
तस्मात् सर्वाणि भूतानि
न त्वं शोचितुम् अर्हसि.
न त्वं शोचितुमर्हसि.
देहि नित्यम् अवत्वयम्
देहि नित्यम
देहे सर्वस्य भारत
देहे सर्वस्य भारत
तस्मात् सर्वाणि भूतानि
तस्मात्
सर्वाणि भूतानि
न त्वं शोचितुम् अर्हसि. देहि नित्यम् अवत्वयम्
देहि नित्यम
देहे सर्वस्य भारत तस्मात् सर्वाणि भूतानि
तस्मात् सर्वाणि
भूतानि
न त्वं शोचितुम् अर्हसि.
न त्वं शोचितुम्
अर्हसि.
Wonderful. So Krishna is concluding his this section. Krishna is concluding this section by this verse. Whatever he has spoken from 2.11 until 2.29, he is concluding in this verse 2.30. What is speaking? That Dehi nityam avadvayam avadha. Avadha means, badha means killing. Avadha means cannot be killed. Who cannot be killed? Dehi. Dehi means who is residing in this deha. Deha means body, sarira. Who is residing in this body? That is Ayam, soul. This soul. Ayam Dehi. Ayam Dehi, this soul, Nityam Abadyo. Nityam means cannot be killed forever. It's not that it cannot be killed for some time. No, Nityam. Forever it cannot be killed. That means it can never be killed. O Bharata, O descendant of Bharata, O Arjuna, Ayam Dehi Sarvasya Dehe. Is it applicable to only one particular Dehi? No. Sarvasya Dehe. In everybody's body, in all the Sarira, the Dehi is residing. And this Dehi, Sarvasya Dehe, the soul in the body of all entity, Nityam Avadhya, can never be killed. So, let's think, Arjuna was worried to participate in this ghastly warfare because he has to kill his dear uncle, his dear grandfather Bhishma and his dear guru, teacher Dronacharya. So specifically, these two gentlemen has lot of influence on Arjuna. He is not willing to kill them. So Krishna is speaking, forget about your grandfather and teacher Arjuna, whomsoever you will encounter in the war, actually speaking, no one is being killed. Because they are the soul. Soul can never be killed. So whatever killing you are talking of, that the body will be only perished. Anyway, you cannot save the body. They have already at their old age. Even though you don't kill them, in some time they will also leave this body. And just because of that, is it worthwhile to abandon your prescribed duty? You are a Kshatriya. You're supposed to fight. You're supposed to raise your voice against the misdeed. You have to punish the evil. But just because of your attraction in the material level towards your relatives, is it worthwhile to abandon your duty? What will happen by abandoning your duty? Your consciousness will degrade, Arjuna. Because the only purpose of this life is to bring elevation to your consciousness. And how consciousness will be elevated? By following in the path of dharma, by doing your prescribed duty. But you want to sacrifice your dharma, you want to abandon your dharma because of your attractions. No, this is not wise. Na tvam sochitum arhasi. Na tvam sochitum, socho mat. Don't lament. Don't lament. Don't lament for Bhishma and Drona. Not only that, sarvani bhutani. For anything, you should not lament. Dehi, the owner of the material body, nityam, eternally, avadhyaha, cannot be killed. I am the soul. Dehe, in the body, sarvasya, of everyone. Bharata, O descendant of Bharata, tasmat, therefore, sarvani, all, bhutani, living entities that are born, na, never, tvam, you, sochitum, to lament, arhasi, deserve. Translation: O descendant of Bharata, he who dwells in the body can never be slain. Therefore, you need not grieve for any living being. Let us come to purport. The purport is very short. Let's quickly read and try to understand. The Lord the Lord now concludes the chapter of instruction on the immutable spirit soul. The Lord is now concluding all his teachings in this verse about spirit soul. What is that? Let us see. In describing the immortal soul in various ways, soul is immortal. Lord Krishna establishes that the soul is immortal and the body is temporary. The soul is ever alive, the body is never alive. The soul is eternal, the body is temporary. The soul is imperishable, the body is perishable. The soul cannot be killed, the soul cannot be destroyed, the body is destined to be destroyed. Therefore, even though the body is killed, the soul is never killed. Therefore, Arjuna, as a Kshatriya, should not abandon his duty out of fear that his grandfather and teacher, Bhishma and Drona, will die in the battle. Therefore, Arjuna should not abandon his duty. On the authority of Sri Krishna, one has to believe that there is a soul different from the material body. Just because Krishna is speaking, he is not an ordinary being like you and me. He is the Supreme Lord himself. So he is the proper authority. So we should believe, we should not have any doubt that soul doesn't exist. No, there is a soul and it is different from the material body because Krishna has given a various level of various level of logic to establish this. Not that there is no such things as soul or that living symptom develop at a certain stage of material maturity resulting from the interaction of chemicals. Some bogus theory has been proposed by the scientists or so-called atheistic persons that by the interactions of the chemicals, sometimes at the maturity of the materials stage, some living symptom is generated. No, this is a bogus theory. This can never happen. Though the soul is immortal, violence is not encouraged. So is Krishna provoking violence here to Arjuna to fight? No, he's simply saying that Arjuna, you should do your prescribed duty. If you would have been a Shudra, you should not have hesitated to perform your prescribed duty. So simply by this, we are understanding this just by any compromise or anything out of fear, we should not compromise our dharma. Whatever is ought to be done by us, we should do it. By not doing it, our soul will be degrading. And here he is not at all encouraging violence, rather he is promoting transcendence. But at the same time, at the time of war, it is not discouraged when there is actual need for it. The so-called violence has also its utility. We had read and learned. The knife in the hand of a mother can cut nice vegetables and prepare palatable dishes. And the same knife in the hands of a dacoit will kill someone. So is it the problem of knife? No. Life as such do not cause any violence. It is the person who is using it. The problem lies with him. And also, in what attitude a doctor operates a patient, is it a violence? No. Even though it is cutting, stitching, and the bloods are oozing, but still it's not a violence. It is for the cure of the person. Apparently it is appearing like that, but this violence is necessary. Similarly, just to bring law and order into the society, violence is also sanctioned by the government. In the border, soldiers are there fighting to protect their own nation. This is sanctioned. Okay, so here, even though Krishna is telling Arjuna, you should not withdraw from fighting, that doesn't mean that he is promoting violence. No. Violence has its utility, it has its need, and at the time of need, it is not discouraged. That need must be justified in terms of sanction of the Lord and not capriciously. Here, Krishna is telling Arjuna, because he knows what is better, correct thing, which is most appropriate thing. But we should not do by our own whims and means. We should not do capriciously. No. There should be a sanction of the Lord or his representative. We should consult the acharyas, the gurus, they know what is most appropriate in what situation. Thank you all very much. Thank you for your patientful hearing and enthusiastic participation. श्रीमद् भगवत गीता की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. हरे कृष्ण.